This is Koudelka, which is also the name of the main character, and it is a PlayStation game that was released in 2000 and developed by Saknoth, the company in charge of the Shadow Hearts series. This is the first game in the series, as the places and characters are referenced in the later installments. I'm just going to come out and say that this game is really bad. Think of it as an experiment gone wrong. They have some good ideas going in, and even a great composer who did the music for Secret of Mana and Seiken Densetsu 3, but in the end it just turned out to be shit. The only reason why I decided to get it and play it was because there was a scene later on that reminded me of The Exorcist. Anyways, the game is set in one location, the Nemeton Monastery in Aberystwyth, Wales, where Koudelka, a young gypsy with supernatural powers, ends up going to after having some troubling visions. Sounds legit. She gets there and meets up with an adventurer named Edward and a bishop named James, all of whom have reasons for being there. So, what do? You join up with them and investigate this monastery to figure out what the hell went wrong with this place. So the basic story is that some guy wanted to revive his dead wife, Elaine, and found out a way to do that. All he had to do was provide fresh bodies to a cauldron, and 200 bodies later, the spell finally worked. But not really. Of course it didn't. So Elaine's body is revived, and not her soul. But, to make matters worse, all the people that were killed and used in the revival spell thing came back as monsters and are now roaming the castle. So a pretty cliché story, yes. Does it make it bad necessarily? No. But when you have a boring, predictable story, you may need something else that's good to distract you from it, right? Well, be prepared to be disappointed. The combat system is atrocious. It seriously is. It tried to be a tactical RPG with a grid-based battle system, but it was unnecessary and some points fucking hard. Oh, and weapons break. I hate games that make your fucking weapons break. Not only were battles pretty slow with the tactical aspect of it all, but the music made it even more horrible whenever you entered a battle. Here, just take a minute to watch this exciting battle. Are you bored? So am I. I avoided as many battles as I could to bypass listening to that goddamn song. It's probably what made my experience with it so difficult, since I never leveled up enough for the boss fight. Oh, speaking of which, the boss fights would happen suddenly. Like, you would walk into a certain part of the room, and a text box would come up and say, "Oh no, something's coming!" and then BAM! Fight! It sucked. As for the gameplay, it was fairly basic, like a Resident Evil or Silent Hill game, with the random item finding and the horror aspect of it. The environment was well done, and was nice and creepy for the most part, so I'd give that a pass. One of the best things that kind of saves this whole game is the cutscenes and the voice acting in it. Something that was rare for the PlayStation games.
What do you mean we can't get out? How hard can it be?
Why don't you ask these guys?
Damn it!
Though this made the game have 4 discs to accommodate all the special effects, and for me, it only took 9 hours to beat. So that's roughly 2 hours per disc, and that's pretty bad. But I think it's worth it. You really get a feel for the characters once they're voiced, and for early voice acting in games, it's pretty damn good. Unlike other games that came out during this time like Star Ocean 2,
There's Mr. Enemy!
and Legendia.
Lean. Open the viewports for General Ball.
Yes, Colonel Mullen.
You learn a lot about the characters through the voice scenes and how they interact with one another. At some points, it's quite enjoyable and funny, actually.
Koudelka, what type of a joke is this?
That's my question.
This is no joke! I am the reputable Roger Bacon!
It's a nice break from all the crappy battles in between. There's one point in the game where Koudelka talks about her past, and man is it brutal. After the 9-minute scene is done, I felt genuinely sorry for the girl. Something that rarely happens for me. So if they did something right in this game, it was the characters and the voice acting. So why did this game end up doing so poorly? I mean, a survival horror RPG sounded like a good idea, kind of, if you did it right. But no, the composer of the game, and who established Saknoth in 1997, wanted to take RPGs in a new direction, as he found them stagnant, disjointed, and juvenile. He wanted the battle to be action-based, using Resident Evil as a foundation, but his dickbag employees wanted him to do something close to what Square had been making, destroying his idea to make it something different. So thanks to those assholes, we got a garbage game as a result, when it could have been good. I personally would have liked to see how it would have turned out if it were done like Resident Evil. In the end, the game isn't really that bad. I did enjoy the voice parts, and I did finish it, so that says it's playable. If you plan to play this game, try to keep the number of items in your inventory at 10, 21, 32, or 47 at certain times during your playthrough. Also, lose against the final boss. That's the canon ending, because fuck logic.